A new airline touching down in Marsh Harbor, Abaco. We'll tell you all about it coming up in the Bahamas tonight.
And coming up in sports, a sporting legend laid to rest yesterday. The Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition, starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Good evening, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. Thanks for tuning in. Topping the news this Sunday. Should the economy continue to improve, Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie is promising steadily increases in government's minimum wage. As it stands now, minimum wage increased to $225 per week, but it appears that it could incrementally continue to rise, much to the delight of civil servants, in particular members of the Bahamas Public Services Union, who last week called for another minimum wage increase. But Minister of Finance, Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie says that while there are a number of new investments anticipated, as well as new projected streams of revenue this year, he must still be cautious.
I can't base my view of minimum wage on what has not happened. I have to use the indicators of the economy as they are to guide us on what we're doing. We have increased it now, right? It's not enough, obviously, not even enough for us. But we are going to do so incrementally as our circumstances allow us to do so.
Another airline has taxied the runway at the Abaco International Airport. Silver Airways began its 2 weekly nonstop flights between Tampa, Florida, and Marsh Harbor, Abaco this weekend. The flight made its inaugural landing Saturday evening, and the flight marked the 5th service Silver Airways offers between the island and Florida. Other routes include Fort Lauderdale, Jacksonville, Orlando, and West Palm Beach. Jimenita Swain was in Abaco when tourism officials welcomed the flight.
Travelers from Tampa Bay, Florida now have another option of getting to Abaco with the addition of a 2-hour non-stop twice-weekly service operated by Silver Airways. Moments after landing, Abaco fire officials welcomed the inaugural flight with somewhat of a water baptism before the 34 passengers disembarked. Tourism Director General Joy Juberlew joined officials from the Abaco community to greet the passengers. She believes the new service is a clear step towards increasing visitor arrivals.
We welcome this new flight because it provides our visitors with more access to the islands of the Bahamas. And Silver's exceptional service will allow passengers to be relaxed, revived, and refreshed.
Vice President of Marketing for Tampa International Airport, Christopher Minna, claims Tampa is the fastest growing market in all of Florida, and Marsh Harbor is the #1 requested destination.
The full flight that came in today is an indication of that demand, which I know is going to be continued with a very, very successful service for you. 42% of the passengers at Tampa International Airport begin their journey in Tampa Bay. That means they're looking for places to come and spend their money, to stay in your hotels, and to eat at your restaurants. And I know that this will be a tremendous boost for the economy of Marsh Harbor and for the Bahamas as well.
North Abaco Member of Parliament Renato Corey said one goal in opening the airport was attracting more passengers, and the new route will help to do just that.
I'm very grateful that Silver Airlines decided to bring this flight in, and we believe that it will be, in the end of the day, very good for everybody involved.
While the service makes it easier for Floridians to travel to Abaco, Minna also reminded locals that they also have another option to fly to Tampa Bay and take advantage of shopping and other amenities the city offers. Silver will now operate 8 flights between Florida and Abaco. Jimenita Swain, ZNS Network News.
Crossing over now to news from the police, motorist Carl Albury first remembers hearing sounds of banging after parking his car off Prince Charles Drive yesterday. Police confirmed to us that those sounds came from a 5-car collision that reportedly occurred around 4:50 p.m. Corporal Garth Kelly of the Police Traffic Division explained how it all happened.
I came running out front here, and basically from what I could see, it was 4 cars. I later understood that it was 5 cars, and it was clear that everybody was totally stunned because all of their airbags had gone off, and as you can see, It was a really horrific type of accident.
One of the vehicles came to a stop with a view to turn into everything must go, colliding into 3 vehicles, creating a multiple car collision. 5 persons was taken by way of EMS to the hospital, and the jaws of life is here to evacuate one of the drivers.
Police also confirmed that the passengers and drivers involved in this mishap are detained in hospital tonight. Meantime, Corporal Kelly offers this stern warning to motorists, as it seems that speed may have been a factor.
I won't say it was speed, but clearly because you have 2 cars coming from different directions, you're going to have a situation and cars coming behind them, you're going to have the collision, which is what we have here.
We are presently advising all motoring persons on the streets of New Providence to exercise caution and to stay within the speed limit as they move forward, as they commute from day to day.
For years, the Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation has been challenged with collecting outstanding arrears from more than 20 tenants stationed in the industrial park. While Executive Chairman Dion Smith, who has only been in the post for about a month, says the corporation is mapping out strategies to foster a better relationship with them.
We are looking at putting some sort of strategy in place or some sort of policy in place to work with them. But some of the concerns from the tenants in the park has been they're supposed to be somewhat a part of BAIC. We're supposed to be a corporation that are partnering, that are looking to empower others. So what we're doing is trying to work with them more to allow the general public to know what it is that they do. Very soon we're going to be launching a commercial that's going to highlight the tenants that we have in the park and some of the things that we do. So we appreciate that, yes, they do have a lot of arrears, but we also appreciate that they haven't had much business, and we haven't done much to highlight them and to let the Bahamas know, some of the things that go on right here in the park.
BAIC's executive chairman also revealed some new initiatives that are expected to come on stream very soon.
What we're going to be doing is building a greenhouse very soon and an aquaponics aquarium, where we, in trying to encourage persons in fisheries as well as agriculture, we will have students that can come here and visit and see, the new innovative means and ways in which they can farm. It's not just the old way anymore with a pickaxe and a shovel. So we want to do things to motivate persons in the area, as well as you may have some existing entrepreneurs that we want to also help, whether it is to provide them funding through the Venture Capital Fund or the Bahamas Development Bank. We're working on that. Another thing what we're going to be doing too at BAIC is many fact-finding missions to bring more investment to the Bahamas.
The Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation plans to focus much of its attention on the development of the country's small and medium-sized enterprises in 2015. CEO Edison Sumner confirmed to ZNS News that the SME Mentorship Program will relaunch in another 2 weeks. At a branding workshop for local businesses last week, Chairman Gowan Bowles stressed the need for the Chamber to not only lay out future plans, but to tie that in with what the business community is looking for.
We understand that the small and medium enterprises drive the economy of any country. And in this country, we've heard their cries. We've been paying attention to what they've been saying. And because of that, we made a conscious decision that 2015 is going to be the year for SME development in the Chamber of Commerce.
They're looking for solutions. And one thing I'd like to add is that we need to be solution-minded and remember the proverb, if you're not a part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
The Central Bank of the Bahamas, the Bahamas Development Bank, and the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation recently teamed up for a one-day educational information panel discussion. Panelists discussed the Credit Reporting Bill 2014 and the Credit Reporting Regulations 2014. Key to both pieces of legislation is the introduction and implementation of a credit bureau, which reportedly is to be enacted by the Credit Reporting Act. Bahamas Mortgage Corporation Managing Director Sandra Storr explained the anticipated impact of the credit reporting agency.
And the credit reporting bills would really require financial institutions and maybe some other companies like be, well, mandatory. They have a mandatory list of companies that have to report whatever the extent of their debt is, so that if persons were to present themselves for a loan, there's a central agency where we can look and to see how many loans does Mary have? Okay, how does that affect her debt? And is she a good candidate for a loan? And also they do what is called a full file reporting, whereas it looks at the negative and the positive.
Now, Managing Director of the Bahamas Development Bank, Arinthia Komolafe, is embracing the credit agency as a vital tool where both the financial institutions and the customer benefits.
It's good for the borrower as well as the lender, but from the lender's perspective, the lender would be able to carry out a more risk-based approach on lending, and so you may be able to award more favorable interest rates to the borrower, which will be to the benefit of the borrower. There's also this gathering of positive and negative information, because generally now what you have is a lot of information being gathered on the credit position of the borrower, but you don't have the positive history as to their good credit, their ability to pay loans very well, even though to some extent you're able to get that information from a credit reference. But the credit bureau is going to be more encompassing. We expect and anticipate that the information will be more accurate, more reliable, and I think it's certainly going to help lenders in the credit decision-making process.
And still to come, the Governor General and Prime Minister among the many attending the Heart Association's major fundraiser last night. That story and more when the weekend edition continues.